Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Oh boy. Hey guys. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's go. Hi. Original link to the video, top of the description from Messi in the USA. I'll do a subscribe, like. Americans can't handle these simple things in Europe. These are always entertaining. Let's go.
I know the Europeans are getting really sick and tired of the Americans going online and saying, Europe, Europe, Europe. We know. Well, I don't know. I know. I think most of us know. I think most Americans know that Europe is a continent, okay? Most of us know that. When you see an American online talking about their European summer, darling, when we hear the word Europe alone, just the word Europe, oh, it is the bougiest flex on the people in our country. I'm telling you, I'm not defending any of it. I'm just trying to offer a layer of perspective.
What if I told you?
And usually, if they do know it's a continent, when they think of Europe, it's usually Italy, France, Germany, the UK. That's Europe to many Americans.
That most Americans visiting Europe walk away shocked, not by ancient castles or cobble.
By the way, I don't like to judge people too much on stuff that they don't know that I might think is obvious, because people are exposed to different things. We learn about things. I definitely don't know things that are obvious to other people. But when it comes to just what is a continent versus a country, I don't.
Stone streets, but by the ice cubes, or rather, the lack of them. From smaller meals and slower dinners to tipping confusion and outlet meltdowns, Europe feels like a different world to a lot of Americans.
By the way, I think America has the worst input, electric outlet input, because it's so easily it falls out way too easily. And when you have these nice 3 prongs or sometimes 4 prongs, it looks like it would stay in the wall better.
Outlet meltdowns, Europe feels like a different world to a lot of Americans. Today, we're breaking down 7 major culture shocks Americans face when visiting Europe. And by the end, I'm asking you, is it culture shock or perspective shock? Let's dive in.
Well, that's the same thing, isn't it?
The coffee in England is actually pretty good. Like it's really good. The problem is it's in children-sized cups. Why? I want to enjoy and sip on my coffee, not sip this in 2 sips and it's gone. And it was expensive. It's freaking £6.
The first thing Americans notice throughout Europe, the food looks smaller. Where's the mountain of fries?
You guys have curly fries at McDonald's over there?
Bucket of soda.
Yeah, where's my gallon of soda that I can gulp
the food
down?
Looks smaller. Where's the mountain of fries? The bucket of soda. The value meal the size of your forearm? Portions abroad are meant to satisfy, not sedate. Meals are smaller, balanced, and not always drowning in cheese or sauces. But here's the
not sedate. That's good.
kicker. Europeans don't leave hungry. They leave content. Meanwhile, in the US, we've normalized 1,500 calorie snacks and call it convenience. It's not that the food is tiny, it's that America supersized everything and never looked back. So are Americans obsessed with value or just addicted to quantity over quality?
All right.
And then when you eat too much, then your stomach expands, and then you're less satiated next time, and then we wonder why we have such a obesity issue.
Quick question for Europeans. What's your beef with iced coffee? Why can't I find a cold brew anywhere? How come when I ask for you to put ice in my coffee, you look at me like I'm covered in vomit? Or you put 1 ice cube in there? There are 3 ice cubes in this. As far as I'm concerned, this is a hot coffee.
Nothing confusing.
I don't like his attitude. There's a big difference between, there's a huge difference between like kind of just noticing the differences in America and Europe when you go from America to Europe, and just saying like, oh, this is interesting. You know, they don't have iced coffee, just is not a popular thing over here. You know, and you know, that's interesting, and admiring and noticing the differences between our cultures. It's a whole other thing to point out that they don't have ice in my coffee as if it's an inconvenience to you, you know? Like that is you're talking about the same thing, but they're a world away from just attitudes.
This is Americans more than ordering a Coke in Europe and getting barely 3 sad ice cubes. In the US, we want drinks practically frozen solid. In Europe, ice is almost offensive. There's logic behind it. Some Europeans believe ice waters down flavor, and they don't want to pay for frozen water instead of drink. But for Americans, a warm Coke feels downright criminal. Getting iced coffee in Europe is basically a scavenger hunt. Most cafes just don't serve drinks over ice, so your usual iced latte might not exist. When you ask, you often get a confused look or a tiny splash of milk in a glass at room temperature. For Americans used to ice-cold caffeine on demand, it can feel like a full-on morning crisis. Could you survive a European summer without your daily iced coffee fix, or is that a non-negotiable? This isn't just about ice, it's about mindset. America loves fast and cold. Europe prefers slow and intentional. Is the obsession with ice about comfort or just another American habit we can't shake?
You're not living there, you're going there for a short experience. I'm always like, I'm amazed that people who have the initiative and drive to go to another country can do that, but still not have the mindset that you're going to experience something new. There are going to be things that you're used to that aren't available over there. It's going to be different. And pointing those things out in a way that is, you know, you understand that it's a different culture and this is the point of traveling is one thing, but complaining is wildly annoying.
Okay, a huge difference between Americans and Italians when it comes to food is that Americans do not slow down and Americans basically don't stop moving. I mean, perfect examples are that we constantly walk around with like a gallon of water. Our Starbucks coffee is constantly with us. This is stuff you never see in Italy. But even food in general, like we eat anywhere. Like you see people eating in their car, you see people eating at their desk at work, you see people literally eating as they're walking down the street, you see people pulling snacks out of their purse. This is stuff that you see way less when you're walking the streets in Italy. Let me give you a funny example that I didn't even realize this until my husband told me. He's never went to Starbucks and put the lid on his coffee. First of all, he's usually ordering an espresso, but sometimes he will just order a small coffee. He never puts that lid on it. He's never even drank out of it before because he doesn't move with his coffee. Italians either stand there and have their espresso or sit down and have their espresso, but they're never like on the go. You definitely get the vibe in Italy that eating is a relaxing thing. Drinking is a relaxing thing, a time to socialize, sit down. And in America, for most of the day, most people are like just trying to get some food in. Only food that
Trying to think of how to word this. I think Europe is much more about like the point of life isn't to just try and succeed as much as you can and get as much money as you possibly can and then boom, you're dead. It's like we're going to do that, we're going to work, but also what is the point of working if you never enjoy anything? And I think that's a much more balanced way of doing things. To me, yeah, so
I really commonly see Italians walking around with would be a gelato after dinner during their after dinner stroll. Comes to food, if you want to do it like an Italian, just slow down and stop moving, unless it's a leisurely stroll.
In America, you sit, order, eat, pay, leave.
like in America, I think it's you work to get a paycheck and then you retire and then you die. And over in Europe, it's like you're living as you work, not working to eventually retire and then try to live when you're 65 or 70. And I just, from the concept, I think one is definitely healthier than the other.
You sit, talk, linger, enjoy. Dining in Europe isn't a transaction. It's an experience. Waiters don't rush you out because turning tables fast isn't the goal. And here's what really blows Americans' minds. You have to ask for the check. It's not just slapped down after 10 minutes. Because to Europeans, that's rude. But Americans, we get anxious. Where's the waiter? Why is no one ringing the bill? That's not bad service. That's time to make memories. Would you rather have fast, efficient service or slower social?
You're taking up a table, just give me your money, I'll give you food and then leave. Because the more time you sit at the table means the less places I have to sit other people to get their money. And oh yeah, tip your waiter because we don't pay them.
Meals.
It's good. I think one's a little better than the other.
Tipping
Oh,
culture in
speaking of
America
tipping.
versus Europe is so crazy and so different. Tipping in the US is basically required. The percent is rising every single time I go out. Like, it's actually crazy that I usually would leave 20% tip if they're good and like 15% if they're not so good. I have been seeing 25 starting, 30, 35. Huh? 35%! Half the restaurants we have eaten at, when you pay with your credit card, it doesn't even give you an option to leave a tip.
It's kind of smart it's not great, but it's like, hey, it's like tipping culture in the US makes it easier for many jobs to not have to pay their worker and just put the bill on the customer. And then we just accept it. It's like, it's second nature. It's like that's the crazy thing. It's like, we don't, even if you get like order Domino's pizza or something and you want to get it delivered, you think, they pay them enough and, it's a service here, but it's like, oh, I'll get this $12 thing. And then it's $21.75 because it's like, there's a $5.50 delivery fee. And then there's the tax here and like a gas fee or something like that. And I'm like, why don't you just, but I still order it. That's the thing. It's like, I'm partly to blame because I just accept it. So I'm getting mad, but I should be mad at myself, I guess.
On the card. If you want to leave a tip, you can leave cash on the table, but it's usually not mandatory or required. It's like, hey, thank you so much. This was awesome. In Europe, they don't really expect it. It's just really, really nice to do.
Let's explore a cultural curveball that trips up almost every American. Tipping. In America, you have to tip or you're basically a villain. 15%, 20%, 25%. The math gets worse every year.
I remember being in a pub at the bottom of a place like a hotel/pub in London. I was there with my brother and dad a while ago, and we were getting drinks, and my dad went up. It's like, should I tip or something to the person? And it wasn't like, well, I mean, I'll take it if you want, whatever. It was just like, no, that we don't do that over here. And it was almost like insulting to them, which I thought was really cool. Maybe I was reading too much into it, but
it's optional, a polite gesture, sometimes even refused. That's because servers are typically paid real wages.
One nice thing about being American traveling in Paris is that you could go to a restaurant, and because there's no tipping culture here, you could give like a dog shit tip, like 10%, and they act like you just bought them a Tesla. I gave a waiter this like €3 tip. He acted like I saved his family from a burning building. He was like, oh, merci.
Tipping isn't a survival mechanism, it's a small thank you. When Americans try to tip 20%, some locals think it's strange or assume we're showing off. Should the US keep or get rid of tipping culture entirely? Drop your take. This one's gonna...
I think we should get rid of it. It's not just so that the people buying stuff don't have to pay it, but it's gotten to the point where, like, tipping, it's a tip. It's something additional. But if we're in an atmosphere where if you don't tip, then someone will get pissed off or something, And if it's a delivery, I mean, I tip for deliveries, obviously, and if someone like drops off something heavy at my house, I'll tip. But it's not even a tip anymore because it's expected. And if it's expected every time, then it's not a tip. It's just part of the charge. I would love to get rid of tipping, but I don't know how we do it exactly, unless everyone just together says, all right, everyone stop today.
Start a fight in the comments.
Look at everybody staring.
Oh, it's okay.
No, look at all them. They're not. They're all staring.
I don't think you're supposed to be driving there.
You should drive through that tunnel right there.
What? Drive through the tunnel?
Oh. Out of all of these videos I've seen, this is the most embarrassingly American thing ever. And I'm sure they're all thinking to themselves, that's definitely an American. It's just we already have a reputation for our car culture. And then here comes an American tourist with their rented car driving through an area that's not for cars.
Go back the way you came. Yeah, go back the way you came, please.
Take a left.
Yeah, careful.
Watch out for people, though. Yes, yes.
You might as well just put a giant flag over yourself that just says, I'm American by doing this.
Well, I can't get through there. Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, I could.
No, just go right there. No. Please. You are not going through a tunnel.
No, it's right there.
American roads are typically wide and built for comfort. Street, spacious lanes, massive parking lots. European roads, on the other hand, can be another story. Narrow streets and cars that look like toys, parked by small curbs. Parallel parking on a street with barely enough room for a bicycle, that's basically a European rite of passage. Traffic rules can be confusing too. Different signs, different speed limits, tolls, and more. But Europeans argue all of this makes them better drivers. More precise, patient, and aware. Who do you think are better drivers?
I don't know is the answer, but I mean, Europe is American. A lot of American infrastructure was like plopped down in areas that didn't have a lot of buildings and historical things. And so you could just make it for cars. Whereas in Europe, it's the opposite. You have to, cars came within cities and towns that were built long before cars were a thing. And so you got to kind of build within it instead of just plopping down this giant highway or road like you do in America.
Americans or Europeans? And while you're at it, what's the wildest driving experience you've ever had abroad?
Going through the Alps and the roads there, beautifully maintained, so terrifying. I know that the brake most likely isn't going to go out, but if it did, goodbye.
We're
you're
gonna
done.
try Brooke's Shark hair tool in the European outlet. We heard that it blows up or whatever. The voltage is different, so we're gonna see if it works. We're gonna try here. So, okay, we'll try. Oh, it works. It works? Yeah. Fire up. Maybe it's a myth. Or maybe it's because the hotel has different voltage. We'd probably blow up our place for sure. Our house would blow up.
Is it higher or lower voltage?
Oh yeah, look at that.
Every American in Europe has had that same meltdown moment. You pull out your phone charger and it doesn't fit. Welcome to the world of different outlets. Most of Europe uses...
I'm sure this is just a skit, but this is something that kind of annoys me. Because if you really didn't, like, what was your thought process to going to another country? It's just like, I'm going to go. Hey, pack your bags. It's like we're going to Florida. Let's go to France. And if you didn't realize, it means you put no thought into the fact you're going to a place that isn't America. And this is just a very telltale sign of that. A bit irritating.
220 volts instead of 110, different shape, different size, different system. And every time Americans think, why can't the world just pick one? But Europeans argue they picked first. The US just never changed. It's one of those perfect metaphors. America built its own system, refused to adapt, and now acts confused when the rest of the world doesn't match. Should the world agree on one universal outlet or keep their national systems?
Let me guess. The Americans saying that want the world to change to the American one. Okay.
Universal outlet or keep their national systems.
Did nobody warn me that there's no AC in Europe? Like, I feel like I'm baking on a daily basis. I feel like I'm about to be a heat casualty out here.
And finally, the deal breaker for many Americans, no air conditioning. Europeans will open a window, use a fan, and call it a day, while Americans melt into puddles wondering how anyone survives somewhere without central AC.
No air conditioning in the stores, no air conditioning in your home. Okay, no air conditioning in the bus is a crime. I can't understand why it is this way in Lucerne. I am melting.
But here's the thing. Buildings are older and constructed with thick walls designed to naturally regulate temperature. Energy costs are higher, and there's more concern about sustainability. Meanwhile, Americans crank AC year-round and freeze themselves in July. So when Europeans visit the US, they're the ones shivering. Be honest, could you survive an entire Euro summer without AC?
To be fair, for me, that would be a big issue. I hate it when it's too hot and I start sweating, but it's not something I would complain about, like, at all. It's something that I would deal with, and if that is enough for you not to want to go there and complain, then why did you go to Europe at all? And so, yeah, I would hate that, not having AC, but I'm not like, why don't you have AC? You better get it. Be American. No, that's ridiculous.
So, after all this, who's really strange? Europeans with smaller meals, slower dinners, and no tipping?
We're strange.
Or Americans who
We're strange to each other. Who's the strange one?
need everything bigger, colder, faster, and more convenient? Maybe neither. Maybe it's just two versions of comfort, one built on efficiency, the other on experience. But here's what's undeniable. Americans travel expecting the world to feel like home.
I hate
and when
that.
it doesn't, they think the world's broken. What's
so true? Beautifully said. I couldn't have said it better myself. 10 out of 10. Perfect. Absolutely.
The world to feel like home, and when it doesn't, they think the world's broken. What's the biggest culture shock you experienced abroad, or the most ridiculous one you've seen Americans freak out about? Let us know where you're commenting from. If this video made you see Europe or America a little differently, hit like and share it. Subscribe if you want more American deep dives. As always, the next topic might just come from your comment, so feel free to suggest topics you'd love to see covered in the comments.
Okay. Great. Amazing. Great video. Some of this stuff is aggravating, and seems to be an unending flow of Americans who act this way. And like you said at the end, it's like you're going to another place. That means things will be strange. Sure, if you want to use the word strange. Or things will be different. And if you travel to somewhere else with that in mind, then you're not going to be as upset as if you think, oh, any other country in the world is going to be just like America, and they're going to have the same rules. It's so infuriating. And I apologize to any Europeans who have to deal with Americans like that as tourists. So, yeah, interesting. Would appreciate any comments down below. Hope everyone's doing well. I hope I see you guys next time. We'll keep on learning together. Bye, guys.